back, everybody, to another edition of Home Solutions. Hope everybody's doing well this Saturday morning. Dennis Purvis here, live and direct at the Mix 1041 studios. As always, we're brought to you by Pro 93 Home Solutions. Folks, if there's anything we can do to help you out, we are your locally owned, veteran-owned general contractor. Everything from remodels, additions, to building custom houses. Give us a call. We'd love to come help you out. Free estimates. We'll come out and give you an idea of what you're looking at. We try to put as much transparency in the process as possible. And don't forget, we've also got our clean team. So if you need any residential cleaning service or maybe some light office commercial, we would love to get Wendy out to give you an estimate and get you set up on the schedule there. Remember, we do offer a green clean service, so we can do cleaning with all the disinfecting, everything you need without the harsh ammonias and chlorine. So give us a call, 458-4135. So as you probably guessed, if it's your first time listening, this is a home and garden show here for the area. So we try to talk about all things in your home, try to help you folks out there that are either DIYers, maybe you're looking for some improvements here in the upcoming year, you're starting to do some planning. And today I'm really happy because we're going to talk about some of the options in your home, interior, exterior. They've got the whole gamut of lighting available to you. And it's George Holden is here with me today, live in the studio with Lowe's Lighting Gallery. Right there on, I'll let him tell you where, but out there on North Lee Highway. Not Lowe's, the big box store, but Lowe's Lighting Gallery. And folks, if you have not been in their showroom recently, you need to be there. Anything lighting, they can help you out with. George, welcome to the show, and thanks for being here today, buddy.
Hey, Dennis, I appreciate it. You know, I was here, a couple months ago, and boy, I really enjoyed that. Had a great conversation.
Yeah.
When she called the other day and said, hey, would you come back on the show? I said, hey, that was exciting. I had a great time, and I was looking forward to coming back. So that's great.
We got a lot of good response from that because, and we're going to talk about some of the things we talked about then, just because we talked about here before we came on air, just about some of the things we talked about with LEDs and temperature and colors and a lot of things people have options that weren't options just a few years ago.
That's right.
That lighting has really kind of changed dramatically. But before we get on that, give us a little bit. I know a lot of folks know the Lowe's name here in town. You guys have been in business quite a while. I know you and Patrick have had the company almost 20 years now.
Almost 18
years. But the Lowe's, the name and the company's been here how long?
Well, since the 80s,
yeah.
Two men started this company as a cabinet company. They made cabinets here locally for builders specifically. They didn't really work with just anybody. They worked really for several general contractors specifically. And so they owned the business until we purchased it. That's where the name comes from. The gentleman who started this company, his name was Roy Lowe. That was his name.
Yeah.
And so he had a partner, and Mr. Lowe passed away. Mr. McMahon, who was his partner, decided they wanted to sell the company. He wanted to retire, and so we purchased the company from him, and that's how the name comes about. So that's the short story, I guess. But but we've been around 18 years. We opened the showroom that we have here on North Lee. It's 5585 North Lee Highway. We're up past Tasso Road for local people. If you know where, just up past the Tasso red light on Highway 11 there on the left-hand side. And there's a lot going on. If you haven't been up North Lee Highway in Bradley County in a while, you need to check it out. There's a lot of new stuff up that way.
But if you're driving after sunset, you'll have no trouble figuring out where the lighting gallery is.
That's right.
They will have no trouble finding
it. It's the store with all the lights in the windows.
I do not want to see your guys' power bill. Cleveland Utilities probably doesn't send you a bill. They send you a thank you notice. And I'm sure LEDs have helped you on that bill a little bit in the years past too.
Hey, it's funny. We talked about just not long ago. LEDs probably cut our light bill almost in half because that was most of what our lighting was.
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, we used to not even turn the heat on. We didn't even. We rarely ever cut the heat pump on in our store because the lights, once you turned them on, it would get it'd warm that store up quick. But with LED, we have to run the heat pump now. So because LED don't produce that heat anymore.
Yeah.
That people got used to, and especially in your home. Think about your home. Think about your heat pump or your air conditioning unit in the summertime. And if you have lights on in your house, used to with incandescent bulbs, wattage is really heat. That's how much heat. That's the reason heaters are measured and how many watts it's producing. So, when people said 60-watt light bulb, well, you take two 60-watt light bulbs, or you took a 4-light, them old Vanty lights that had all them, had up to 6, 8 of those, what we call Hollywood strip bulbs in them, and at 60 watts a pop. Well, you could cook off that in a little bit, You
were melting it. You putting your makeup on and cooking it off right at the same time.
People had fans in their bathrooms for that reason, so they could cool themselves because the light bulbs got in there, got so hot between it and the hot shower, it'd steam up a room and be really hot. So, but now with LED, see, that's gone away, and that much energy is not being used in your home, but it also affects your heat pump, how much it runs. So it is a big savings.
So we'll just jump right in. You've touched on a lot of the things right now, but just for folks that are still out there that are still either not convinced or just haven't even thought about it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm one of those people that I don't think about my lighting very often. I learned more, I think, in our last conversation than probably anybody listening, just because it's just something it's not top of mind. But I now, it made me go around my house. You go into different rooms and realize, wow, my brightest lights were in my bedroom, which probably, talking about trying to get ready to go to sleep at night. And we had that conversation.
Sure.
Boy, I'm just setting myself up for failure. And it's just, you think about, and it wasn't intentional. It was just whatever pack of bulbs I had when I changed the light bulb.
Right. And that's what most people do.
Yeah. You put zero thought into it. I didn't have a brand I was dedicated. It was whatever was on sale usually, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, here's a 12 pack. I can grab these and I'm good for a few months. Right. So I can tell you now, getting into the remodeling side and people redoing kitchens, redoing bathrooms, there is a huge opportunity for folks now to really, not just with flooring and paint, countertops and cabinets and bathtubs and fixtures, but the lighting in those rooms can make a drastic difference in what you're doing.
Sure. So I'll give you a great example. We had a customer doing a remodel. And she asked me to come over. She said, I'm just going to have to tear this whole kitchen out. She says, this kitchen is so dark and these cabinets are so dark. And she said, I just can't stand it. I said, these cabinets are beautiful. They're in phenomenal condition. I said, they're solid wood. I said, you can't even get these cabinets anymore.
Amen.
They had inset drawers. I mean, this kitchen was probably a $20,000 kitchen, to replace it easily or more. And so I said, why don't we change the lighting? I said, the lighting in here is horrible. And I said, why don't we change the lighting first and then tell me what you think about the cabinets?
Yeah.
So we added some recessed cans to our kitchen. We put LED at 3,000 color temperature. She bought a new granite. It needed a new countertop, so she put new granite countertops. But when we lit that kitchen, she said, you got to come see this. She said, it's not even the same kitchen.
No, absolutely.
She said, it's not even the same kitchen anymore. So I saved the lady $20,000 worth of new cabinets because she didn't realize the lighting was so poor that it was affecting how she looked at the cabinets. How you see everything is affected by light.
We have told folks, before you decide on your paint color for your new bathroom and your new kitchen, your addition, your finished basement, or even your brand new house we're building.
Sure.
Let's figure out the lighting first.
And make sure the color temperature. Let me just say this.
Yes.
That's people's largest mistake with LED is the color temperature that you've chose for your home. And so, if you look at color temperature, it starts at 2,700 for most people. It starts at 2,700, which is a very warm color. It's like almost yellow. It's got a little yellow in it. And so it makes everything seem very warm. So if you like that warm feel, and we can show you. You come by Lowe's Line Gunner, we'll show you all the different color temperatures and let you get a feel for what that means. And so at 2,700, it's very warm. So when you get to 3,000, it gets a little more white in it. And so it makes granite colors look better. It makes reds look better. It makes blues look better. And so it's going to affect. When you get to 3,500, now, I know the audience can't see this room, but this room right now is at 3,500. That's what the color temperature is in this room. So it makes your skin tones look better, so you don't look, it doesn't make you look like you're washed out. It photographs better. So if you're in churches, and churches is critical because most churches are online now, and that's the reason if you're watching your church service at home, you think, God, the preacher really needs some sun. I mean, he looks white as a sheet, And so
COVID has not been kind to him.
COVID has not been good to the pastor. And so, the reason that is because their probably color temperature in that room is not right.
Yeah.
He either looks like he's got dark lines under his eyes, or he looks like he's washed out. It's one or the other, and it's usually typically because the lighting's bad. And so that 3500 will make the pasture look like he doesn't need to get out in the sun this summer because he's so washed out. 4,000, when you get to 4,000, then you start getting blue in the color, and so it makes things look washed out. It makes your skin tone. 4,000 under, when I put my skin, if you look at, don't put makeup on 4,000, or you'll end up looking like Tammy Faye Baker. So, you know, bless her heart, I know she's passed away. I'm sorry. So, but anyway,
rest in power, Tammy.
So, but you know, that's what happens. You end up putting your makeup on heavier because it's washing your skin. It's giving you those blue tones. And
I will tell you that's something we've noticed a lot is, the hottest color here this last year or two has been grays.
Oh yeah.
People are putting grays all on their walls.
Yep.
It's become what 20 years ago was the tans and the beiges. They wanted neutral colors and this kind of earthy tone, and now it's kind of went to this gray look. I can't tell you how many houses we've painted gray, but gray is one of those colors that can look you got to remember, you may be looking at it at Sherwin-Williams or Lowe's or Home Depot and thinking, okay, well, you're looking under their lights.
That's
and
right.
You're going to take it home and be like, you ever taken that swatch home and like, man, this isn't what I thought I got at the store. Yeah, it's because it's different light.
That's right.
Imagine what happens when you put it on your walls, because what happens is those grays can be really yellowy.
Yep.
Or they can get really pink.
Yep. And
people get disgusted. Well, that's not. They start blaming the sheetrock or the color underneath. Like, man, we primed this. This is what it looks like. And 9 times out of 10, we just did a bathroom remodel here in town. A lot of you guys may know Pokey's sports bar up here.
Yep.
They have they redid their women's bathrooms, and the owners there had picked some tile out, and we're tiling a back wall. Tiled the wall. She hated it. Now, she picked the tile. She went to the store. She had picked it out. She knew what she wanted. We got it in there. They had those old, not LEDs, just the old kind of yellowy incandescent lights.
Yep.
And it just took this super poppy, marble looking tile and just made it look
dirty.
Yeah. It looked horrible.
Yep.
And she's like, that's not what I picked. And we were like, yeah, I promise you that
This
is here's the receipt. Look at the SKUs match. And literally, we were standing in the hallway outside the bathroom where they had a bright white light, LED light.
Yeah.
They had redone it. And I said, listen, it just happened to be a piece of that tile was laying in the hallway. I said, do you see that? I said, that is the same tile that's on the wall right there. And she went, oh my gosh, it's the lighting. And I was like, yeah, it sure is.
Absolutely.
And she ended up going and buying the next brighter tile and changing it, because then they changed the lights out in there to LEDs, and guess what happened? She is in love. The place looks great. It brought out everything, the contrast. But literally, we're sitting there within 6 feet of one another, but 2 totally different lightings.
Yep.
It looked like it was a completely different style brand.
Sure.
There's no way that came out of the same box.
Yeah.
And it's those little things
makes
folks,
a huge difference.
Yeah. So when you're thinking about these kinds of modifications and additions to your home, the first stop you need to make is Lowe's Lighting Gallery. Tell them one more time before we take a break where you guys are located and how they get a hold of you.
We're at 5585 North Lee Highway, and that's Highway 11 headed toward Charleston, if you know this area. And if you don't, that's just ask everybody how to get to Charleston. And so Highway 11 will get you there. And so we're on the left-hand side. We're at 423-476-9332 is our number.
Listen, give them a call. Tell them you heard them right here on the radio, Mix 104.1 here on Home Solutions. Hang in there. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about some of the clearance and stuff, items they've got in the showroom there. And we're going to talk about some of the trends that are going on right now in lighting. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to Home Solutions right here on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz. Are you tired of going to YouTube or Google for answers to your home improvement questions? Maybe you have more projects than you have time. No matter where you are in the process, Pro 93 Home Solutions is ready to serve you. Pro 93 is a local, veteran-owned company offering residential and commercial remodeling, cleaning, and security. Contact us today at 458-4135 or online at pro93homesolutions.com. Let the pros at Pro 93 find the solution for your home or business. That's 458-4135. Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you listening to Home Solutions here on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz. Dennis Purvis from Pro 93 here with you as always. Thank you for listening for your only local home and garden show. And no matter how you're listening, we appreciate you. Maybe you're tuned in on the radio today as you're driving around to do your honey-do list, or you're growing around to do some DIY projects, running to the store to grab some materials, or maybe you're just streaming online, or you're listening through the Mix 104.1 app. If so, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for doing that. And for everybody out there in Facebook world, good to see you. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I got George from Lowe's Lighting Gallery here today. We're talking about all things lighting. And right before the break, we were talking about, he was telling a story about how changing the lighting in a kitchen literally saved a customer $20,000 in custom cabinets because you relight something with the correct temperatures, the correct lighting, the correct color you're looking for. It's going to really change what you're looking at. And you brought up something during that I want to just jump into is can lights. You know, I know these things all kind of run their cycles, and what's new is old and what's old is new. But I don't know that we have done, honestly, a kitchen or a bathroom. And I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I'm pretty positive I would really have to look hard to find a bathroom or a kitchen that we've redone in the last year and a half that hasn't asked for additional can lights.
Well, can lights has been around since the 80s, but they're super popular. They become very popular in the 90s and continue to be. A lot of people think with LED that the original recessed can went to the wayside, but it has not, actually. We probably sell more recessed cans now than ever. There's a number of products out there, and I want to caution people about this because there's a number of products out there that people make claims that are replacing the recessed can. They truly are not. So the original recessed can was engineered for glare purposes, and so is to knock the glare off the light. So the ideal light fixture for a lighting person is a product where you see the results of the light, but not the source of the light. So recessed cans does that. And so the reason it recesses into the ceiling is to take the glare off of the bulb. So when you walk in a room, your eye immediately doesn't go right to the can because that's the brightest thing in the room. What your eye should go to, and if you have a beautiful living room or a beautiful kitchen that you've spent a fortune on, the first thing you want people to notice is the kitchen, the cabinets, the granite, the countertops, the design, the layout, furniture placement, that type of stuff. That's what you want people to see. That's when I get excited when they say, oh, wow, the furniture looks so beautiful in this room. That tells me I did my job right.
Yeah. If
they walk in and go, oh, wow, look how bright these lights are, that tells me that I just did something wrong,
You've got the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what I want to see happen with the recessed can is I want that glare factor, high glare factor going, but I want the room to be bright. I want the room to be lit very well, extremely well. And I want to be able to dim it and control it and the LED products. So now there are all types of options for recessed product LED. There's what we call pop-ins now. There still the recessed cans. There's inserts. There's still the LED bulb with the recessed trim. Some are better for insulation purposes, so we can show you all that at Lowe's Lighting Gallery. We have a big selection, and we can show people. We can have your recessed can now play music to you.
Yep.
They just came out with the recessed can that will talk with all of your smart devices, so you can tell
Z-Wave.
that can light to come on. You can have, it has Bluetooth in them, and so, you can have your recessed cans with Bluetooth in them. There is so many. There's smart cans where you can control each individual light fixture in your home to do individual things. And color-changing bulbs where you can make them strobe. Like if you have kids, I just had a person do that. Her daughter wanted color changing in her bedroom. That's big for young people right now. They make a bulb where they can tie it to their iPhone and they can play with it. And it's pretty inexpensive.
And you can tell Alexa to change it.
That's right.
That's to do the Alexa red light.
Yes.
Green light, whatever it is.
Yeah. Or cycle where it'll change, just constantly be changing colors.
And I want to throw out a caveat here, something to look out for you DIYers. Flush mount round lights aren't can lights, recessed can lights a lot of times. Like, you understand what you're looking for, because what you'll see in a lot of the box stores, and I'm not picking on the box stores because we get a lot of materials there, but it's sometimes they can encourage bad decisions because if this isn't something you do every day, you don't know the difference. And the other thing and the other side of that is, so make sure, because there's a new construction and then there's retrofit kind of remodeling. If you're putting a brand new can light in, you're wasting your money on those retrofits because they're designed to go someplace where there was a light. Okay. We get these calls all the time. Hey, I bought these. They're not working. What do I need to do? I'm like, take them back and get the new construction and let us do it right for you. The other part of that is dimming. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but we encourage everybody, even though these LED lights say that they can universally be dimmed, I'm telling you, and it goes to, and I'll let you explain this, but the electric, how the electric passes through is completely different in an LED than what we're all used to in an incandescent. And if you don't get a compatible dimmer, and that's why I tell people, whatever brand you're buying, buy the same brand dimmer. Because these universal dimmers say they're universal, but I'm sure you've seen it, you start getting that strobe effect. You start getting that, hope nobody's epileptic in your family because you're going to give somebody a seizure, right? And it's why I would tell you, if you've got an expert like George in town, go see him, let him show you. They've got everything there in the showroom where he can get you the whole package, right? With the dimmers you're going to need to make sure they're compatible with the lights you're going to need. So when you guys, and the dimmable, I feel like I went 2 decades without seeing anybody have light dimmers, and now everybody, it's like everything's come back. Yeah. I'm sure you're seeing a ton of dimmable function. Sure. And LED makes that a lot more affordable as well. Sure.
And we had somebody, it's funny you would talk about dimmers. We had somebody in the showroom, actually this today, that ran into this very same situation. The homeowner had bought some stuff offline.
Yep.
And she got I guess a great deal in it. And so they put it in her house. Well, she wanted to be able to dim it. She wanted to be able to control it. So when they went to put the dimmers on it, they started strobing. And they couldn't figure out why, because the product said it's dimmable. And so they called me and said, hey, we can't fix this. What's going on? And so, and it was really strange. I won't go into the whole story, but it was doing crazy things. So there is a company called Legrand. Legrand's a huge name in lighting and dimming, control system, switches, plugs, and all that stuff. And so they make what they call a true universal dimmer.
There you go. There you go.
And so Legrand's true universal dimmer typically will fix most problems that you run into. It's a little pricier than most dimmers, but I have solved so many people's problems with that true univeral dimmer.
Unless you're opening a nightclub, you're not gonna. You just pay extra for that model.
Right.
Trust me.
That dimmer, what it does, it's actually got a program inside that you don't realize when you first turn it on. It's fixing itself to adapt to that light fixture, and so so there is some fixes to some of it. So we've ran into some we couldn't fix.
Yeah,
I mean they bought some off crazy name brands offline or whatever and brought it, and they just would never dim. They never could control them. I know a house he ended up having to replace all of his because not only could he get them to dim, he couldn't get them to all come on at the same level, and he had like 8 in one room, and part of them were at one level and one was another, and he could never get them to be, even without a dimmer, couldn't get them to light the same. So he ended up replacing them all.
Listen, you know what? If you don't have a dimmer, you could have one side of your living room that's for family, and then you've got the romantic section of the living room. Let's move over to this side of the couch, honey, where the lights are inadvertently dimmer than they need to be. What do you guys see right now? I know we talked earlier about can lights and this. What trends are you seeing right now? I know a lot of people are wanting to make that switch to LED. And you said something a couple months ago when you were here. You're seeing a kind of an uptick in lamps. Like lamps are back, right?
Well, our lamp business is very good, and it's a great way to set. When when you do a room in a home, you should layer the lighting, and lamps is just one of those layers of lighting. It creates warmth in a room. It makes a room feel more softer and warmer. So in a living room where you have televisions and stuff, you add lamps in there. You do a 3,000 color temperature in the bulb. It gives a little bit of warmth in the room. At night, those lamps are much better lighting than overhead lighting because it makes you feel more. Obviously, you're wanting to prepare your body to go to sleep, and that's a big issue right now in life.
Yes.
So even like in nursing homes and hospitals and people who work all night, lighting can make a difference of your sleep, help you with your sleep patterns, but as well, it helps you it makes you healthier. It makes you feel better. Like when you get a full night's rest, and a lot of people don't realize how much lighting has to do with it. Our body's designed to see the sun in the morning, makes us feel awake, makes our body, it tells us, hey, come away. There's names and, there's all kind of scientific words we're not going to use today because that's not really what we're talking about, but it does kick your body off to wake up in the morning to have the right light. At night, on the flip side of that, if you're in bright light before you go get in bed, it will affect your sleep that night. It will affect you. So it's better to have warm lighting in your home at night as you prepare to go to bed, and so that your body it's already in that mode to slow down, calm down, be prepared, go to sleep, and so lighting in a room will affect it. So if you're a person that has to have a light in the room at night, it will affect your sleep. If you have lights in your kids' rooms, and I'm telling you from experience now because I raised two, and so a lot of people don't realize, if you can teach your kids not to have a light in the room, they'll sleep better.
And I can tell you, since you told me this, I mentioned this in the first segment, I actually went home and started going through my rooms and realized how bright my bedroom was. And because I've got a ceiling fan in my bedroom, like a lot of folks do, that I liked, and I apparently, when I've replaced the bulbs, put the brightest possible things. And I made the switch to LED bulbs and all that stuff. And man, I have swapped all those out. Started using my lamp more, and not the overhead light. And you can call it a placebo. I don't care. But I'm telling you, since we had that conversation a few months ago, I have found myself falling asleep quicker. And I think that's been the biggest change, is that I would go in my room at night, and I'm a reader and a crossword puzzle guy before I go to bed, kind of tire my eyes out. And I turn over that big overhead light. So right before I'm going to bed, I'm probably in the brightest light I've been in all day, right before I'm about to go to sleep. and I started thinking about that. So I was like, you know what? I made that switch again. I don't care if it's a placebo. I don't care if it really worked or not, but I'm telling you, you helped me get to sleep faster.
Yeah.
And it was just little tips like that, folks,
Sure.
is why you need to be calling Lowe's Lighting Gallery. We're getting ready to get out of here, but tell everybody where you guys are located, and then talk a little bit about, you guys do have some clearance items right now. You guys are
We
working
do.
on.
So we're at 5585 North Lee Highway. It's 5585 North Lee Highway. If you go up Highway 11, we're on the left-hand side of the road. We've been there now 18 years. It's about 3,000 square foot of lighting showroom, and so we'd love to help you with any of your lighting needs, and I mean anything. If you have questions, please. We have people a lot of times that just come to us with questions, and we're able to help them fix that. If you're scared to get on a ladder, or you're getting to the point in your age that you don't want to be on a ladder or need to be on a ladder, and you need help changing light bulbs, we have staff that can do that, by the way. So we offer a lot of services. We do lamp repair, we do chandelier repair, we do cleanings, we do, but we also, we'll go and change light bulbs in people's homes for them. So we have a staff that can do that and help you with those kind of needs.
And you guys also, and I know we're running out of time, but you guys also do, exterior lighting.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Exterior, landscape lighting. We're a full showroom. We have an install crew that does landscape lighting too. So let me talk about clearance, and then we're going to stop here. I know, but we do have a lot of clearance items. So this time of the year, we just came back from Dallas Market, and it's time to move old stuff out and move new stuff in. So we need to get it out there. So come see us.
Well, listen, folks, you've got a friend in the lighting business. Tell him you heard him right here on Home Solutions. George, thank you so much for being here, brother, as always.
I enjoyed it.
Listen, thank you for helping people, taking care of customers. Guys, if you're out there, give him a call. Stop by. Let him help you with your needs, and I promise you'll walk out of there learning something, okay? And listen, we love you guys. Take care of everybody. Take care of your home. Take care of your family. It's all Be safe, be healthy, be warm, and remember, let's love one another. We're all in this together. We'll see you guys soon. We'll see you next week. You're listening to Home Solutions right here on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz.